Good morning, Suzuki Science, grade 12 students. So many of you have questions about the interview. This is something we have not done in this class. We would have done an interview in class face-to-face. So doing it online will be the same idea, just a different process. Now, hopefully you've seen the document I've posted up about the interview and how the interview process will work. I have suggested that you play around with the application in order to become familiar with it. You'll notice I also put up the review for the metabolism unit, just the way we do if we are working through any other test. These are the concepts that you should know. There are certain concepts that are definitely going to be asked on your Mito poster. We are definitely going to ask you questions about the flow of energy. We're definitely going to ask you questions about thermodynamics. And so you should be able to apply the principles of thermodynamics to your Mito poster. You should understand how the various major reactants and products come into cellular respiration, whether or not it's glycolysis or transition reaction or Krebs cycle or the electron transport chain. You should understand the products that come out of cellular respiration, including the energy as well as carbon dioxide. You should understand how the structure of the mitochondria allows cellular respiration to occur. So how the outer membrane is bypassed, how the inner membrane is bypassed. I mentioned in class that the shuttle system is something that is often neglected. I did not explicitly teach it. However, you are responsible for it. So hopefully you included that, and that's fair game on this interview as well. At what point is oxygen used in cellular respiration? Parts of it are anaerobic, where oxygen is not necessary, glycolysis and fermentation. Other parts are aerobic, requiring oxygen as the final electron acceptor and the electron transport chain to allow pyruvate to go across the mitochondrial membrane. You should be able to explain what's happening in each of the major parts of the cellular respiration: cellular glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and the oxidative respiration with chemiosmosis. Fermentation has two paths, either lactate or ethanol. So understand the difference. Understand that the cytoplasmic NADH is going to recycle through fermentation to allow us to get minimal energy. Enzymes is a great connector between biochemistry and the metabolism unit. This is a concept that we're going to see throughout the entire course, even our modified course. You should be familiar with very specific enzymes. We've talked about some in detail, others we've glossed over. You should know the categories from that note of kinases and isomerases and nucleases and lipases, but also very specific enzymes like ribisco or the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. How do we control the enzymes? How the enzymes allow reactions to occur more quickly by reducing delta G. So by reducing the energy of activation, the delta G remains the same. How are enzymes controlled? Through competitive or non-competitive means? This is something that we'll explore in a little bit more detail in future units. In addition to cellular respiration, we also have the other pathways. We have lipids that are broken down through beta oxidation. We have proteins that are broken down into amino acids, which then are deaminified and enter some part of cellular respiration. Nucleotides are not important for our knowledge here in grade 12. And you should understand how the energy compares between proteins, carbs, and lipids. We know that lipids contain about twice as much energy as compared to an equivalent carb or protein. The circadian rhythm is something that I will be talking about, well, clearly not in this course iteration as much detail as I'd like, but we still are going to come back to circadian rhythm in future units, as well as stress. Photosynthesis, because this is the Mito poster, which is focusing on cellular respiration, I don't have as much of an opportunity to test your knowledge on photosynthesis. However, on the poster, I could ask you to show me where does the light reaction occur? Where does the dark reaction occur? How does carbon dioxide come in? How does carbon dioxide, how is it used? How is oxygen liberated? How does it leave? And questions like that. You should be familiar with the pigments, the photosystem, and the chloroplast structure. After the classic interview is done, where you're diagramming and showing me your understanding of cellular respiration, you'll be given a Google Doc, and there'll be one question on there. It'll actually be 2 questions, but you get to choose one of them. The choices will be between a pigment question and understanding absorption spectra, chlorophylls and the accessory pigments, and how the absorption spectra allows a plant to absorb energy well. Or we'll be looking at photorespiration. So that's C4, CAM, the actual structure of the chloroplast. This is a better question to answer because there's more opportunity to demonstrate your learning. However, you will have a choice. You could choose either one. Okay? The reason why we have this question is because on the Mito poster, you're unable to demonstrate that learning. I can't really ask those questions very well, so it'll be answered in a Google Doc. In terms of the interview, my suggestion is that you will open up Google Jamboard. Hopefully you've been playing with it. You'll upload your Mito poster as a background. The other thing I might suggest you do, because I can't really see all that much detail here when I look at this. So what you might want to do, if I ask very specific questions, see, you have this page option here. Right now it's at page 1 of 1, and I've inserted this picture. So you can go back to your original screenshot. You can magnify a particular section, I guess. Right now I'm in Word. And then you can capture that by using your screen capture tools. So just take, some of you have done this already. You've taken a variety of sections of your posters and you sent them to me through D2L. So I've copied that. And then in Google Jamboard, I can add a new picture, a new page, and then I can add that section in particular. And what that will allow you to do is when I ask you a question, if I'm trying to be very specific about one particular part of your path, as opposed to trying to manipulate this big overview sketch and try to see details, you can just flip over to the page that has that glycolysis or Krebs cycle or ETC or the chloroplast, and they'll be more easily able to demonstrate that understanding. But you should absolutely have an overview of the entire poster in one shot. So if I ask you, okay, well, show me the flow of energy, you can grab this laser pointer and you can show me how glucose comes into the cell, it goes through glycolysis, it does its thing, dances around a bit, oh, there's some oxygen, makes it into the mitochondria, spins around, right? So I'm using a laser pointer, I'll be able to see what you're doing, I'll be able to follow along. So that brings us to the next question. How am I going to hear you? So at this point, you may have already seen the invite that Mr. Desange shared, and it's an invite to Discord. So any of you who game, there's a really good chance you've seen this already. It's a great back channel app, and you're going to follow the instructions and log into Discord, join the lobby that Mr. Desange has created, and inside here you will see our SBI 4U OCB combined class. You can come into the general chat area here and you can just chat. You can see that Mr. Desange and I were already talking this morning and figuring things out. And there's this other option here with a little microphone. So we click on this. If your computer is set up correctly, then you'll be talking. It will be a classroom experience. I'll be able to hear everyone's voice. You'll be able to hear everyone else's voice. And it works on a computer, works on a mobile device. So you decide what's going to be best for you. When it's time for the interview, you'll be coming into either my room or Mr. Desange's room. Clearly, if it's my class, my room. And when you enter, I will be able to hear you. So you'll be able to hear me. So we'll talk back and forth. I'll ask you some questions. And then on Google Jamboard, you'll be showing me where that enzyme's located, or where is the place that has a higher energy level, or how did the oxygen leave, whatever question I happen to be asking. And then I'll be hearing your response as you're showing me the correct answers. Okay? Don't be nervous. I know many of you are, slightly nervous when I'm right beside you and asking the question, and it's a stressful situation. Just take a deep breath. You guys have worked on this. If you've worked on this poster and you've done all this work, then you know it. Just relax, take a look at the structure you've put together, and you'll be okay. So once you're done in the interview, then I will assign you a password to get into the multiple choice of the test. You'll take the test, like I said, 10 questions online in D2L, and then you'll be done. The next person, whoever's on deck, I might come out into the general area and I'll say, okay, Ishan, come join us, and it'll be your turn. You'll come into the interview room, or I might text it in the general chat, who knows? And I'll be going through that. So Wednesday, it looks like we're booked solid from 9 until 3, something like that. It's a solid day. The interviews are booked for half an hour, but it's a good chance for some of you I might get through in 10 minutes, even 15 minutes. So I would like everyone to be available at least a half hour before your interview slot. That way we can keep things moving. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, then I encourage you to send me, use the Google Doc I have available. You've probably seen it in the Google Classroom. You can just type in there. Or one of the things that we will be doing after we experiment a bit more is we'll be opening up this Discord area. And we'll make up some office hours, and we'll tell you specifically when we are going to be in here, and you can come in and we could talk about concepts. This week, it's more about the poster. So tomorrow, no one is scheduled on Tuesday. So look for an announcement, and at some point during the day, I'll make an hour, and it'll just be office hours that you guys can come in and ask specific questions. Maybe you have some clarification about your Mito poster, stick it in the Jamboard or some other screen sharing tool, and you can share your screen, or we can use a Google Jamboard and we can interact together, and then we can clarify any concepts. So I'm not sure what time those office hours will be, but I'll post it up on the Google Classroom.